My name's Victor Goetz. I'm the president of Calvert's Plant Interiors and Cohlmia's in Tulsa. What we do is, sounds like an oxymoron, but they call it interior-scape. So we actually design and install interior landscapes, and we do this all over the state. We have a crew of people that are trained horticulturalists that come out and take care of those plants. So anybody's welcome to come in here anytime they want. It's a very old nursery. It's been a nursery since 1907. It was founded by the Ray family, and Calvert's has been in business since 1978. Cohlmia's in Tulsa has been in business since 1972. My business partner, Bob Calvert, found this property in 1980, and I came on board about 8 years later. It's a little jewel in the middle of Oklahoma City. I don't think people think that they can come in here because we don't have a big parking lot in front, but if you're ever driving down North Classen Boulevard, you're welcome to come in and check us out. It's a wonderful place, and we've got the best crew in town.
So often when we talk about horticulture, we think about the outside landscape, but part of horticulture is also looking at the interior scape. Today joining us is Aleks Payne, who works for Calvert's Plant Interior, and we're at one of your clients?
Yes, we are, yes.
So tell us that we're at Leadership Square in downtown Oklahoma City.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what your role is for interior scaping.
So I'm a designer at Calvert's, and I'm basically a liaison between our clients and kind of what we do in terms of designing these spaces for them. This is one of my clients' buildings, and so we've I've helped work in designing all of these beds and various pots, and we do holiday decorations and all kinds of things for them.
Yeah, so often we appreciate that, but we don't realize that somebody's dedicated their life to doing this sort of thing. So in hotels, resorts, office buildings, and I assume each setting is as unique as an outdoor garden, right?
Exactly. You have to worry about the light, you have to worry about the airflow, you have to worry about
the people.
How public is the space. You have to be careful of what kind of plants you put in. You don't want to have a bunch of cactus here where somebody might hurt themselves. But for the most part, it's going to be light is a huge factor for designing.
Yeah, so we've got glass, walls over there, but we're kind of dark down here.
Really dark over here. So these are all going to be very low light plants. Of course, if we've got plants up next to the glass, those are considered high light, depending on south, east, west. But when they're in the middle of a room like this, you have to be really careful not to put something that needs direct sunlight because you're never going to get it here.
And so tell us a little bit about what do these plants get replaced? Are they maintained regularly? Do they go away? Or
these plants in here for this specific building are maintained twice a week. So we've got a plant technician that comes in on Tuesdays and Thursdays, waters them, cleans them, makes sure they stay pest free, keeps trash and things out of them because it is a public space. If any of them don't make it or start kind of struggling, need to be replaced, we come in and do that. And it's as simple as just pulling them out and putting a new one in. We sort of have a mirage here that this is a planted bed, but in reality the plants are happier staying
so they're actually in their pots, is that correct?
Actually in their pots. So most houseplants like to kind of have that root-bound, snug environment. They don't want to just have a free-for-all for watering and things
Plus
like
that would also be a lot of soil to bring in. And
tons of soil. These are very deep beds. So it's a whole nother.
So tell us a little bit about some of the other clients that you have and some of their requests or what's some of their...
So in terms of public spaces, like you said, we work in restaurants, we work in hotels, other office buildings. Most of those, in terms of just kind of bringing green into those spaces, kind of more putting things that are more aesthetically pleasing, helping the air quality and that type of thing. We do some residential work, and some of those can be a little bit smaller and, just a plant here or there. But our biggest clients are probably going to be in this downtown area, and it's going to be more commercial. commercial public spaces.
So you mentioned the air quality. What are some of the other benefits? Why are people wanting to bring plants inside?
People want to work in a green space. They help, it helps filter the air. It, is pleasing to the eye. People enjoy having plants in their environment.
And doesn't it also help soften the sound too?
Definitely. Great for sound dampening. Of course, in a space like this where you've got a water feature, you've got restaurants, it can be very loud. Without these plants, it would be even louder than what it is now.
That's fabulous. So is there ever a situation where you're like, oh, we just don't have a right plant for that situation? And what do you do in those situations?
So if there is an area that we don't necessarily have the light, or, even somebody who doesn't want to, pay for our maintenance program or doesn't have a green thumb, we have some silk options that you can also use for those areas.
But they do require some maintenance too,
a little
right?
bit of maintenance, yeah. You just gotta, come through, and usually it's really just as simple as dusting.
Okay.
But you have to do that a little bit more frequently on the faux than you do on the lives.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And then, you also mentioned that you had some moss options. Can you tell us a little bit about what those are?
Yes, so what we do, and leadership has a couple of these moss walls, moss sort of like picture frames, so we'll frame up moss. We have several different types of moss, all in various colors, different textures, and so we kind of work with one of our greenhouse gals, and they kind of help us put together those different moss walls and frames.
So are those living moss or
all preserved?
Okay.
Yep, all preserved moss. Pretty little maintenance when you have them in a public space like this. People get handsy, so you may have to come in a couple times a year and kind of replenish the spots that have been touched. But other than that, no water, no anything. So they're really good for a space that doesn't get any light, or even a space that's tight.
But yet still offers some of those things that green plants do,
Absolutely. Softening, sound dampening, all of the aesthetics. So.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Alex, so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you. We're glad you could come by.
We appreciate your work that you're doing.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.